I have a really cool thing that I want to tell you guys about, and that is our Artists in Residence program that we're doing. And this is a Jason idea, and we're trying it on to celebrate the Gunwerks 20-year anniversary. And so the concept or the idea behind this is we're doing a bronze, a limited piece, 20-piece bronze, that captures the struggle of building a business like Gunwerks. And to kind of commemorate that, I mean, a sheep hunt's always kind of like that iconic, hunt, that struggle to achieve. I mean, maybe the struggle to even get the tag. And when we started Gunwerks, I was fortunate enough to draw a New Mexico sheep permit and was able to kind of kick off that big hunt career at the same time we were launching Gunwerks as a company. And so we've got a sheep in this bronze, and then we're gonna actually bring in a model of the sheep that I killed, my bighorn, and bring that and make it a part of that story. And there's a lot of things that came from that hunt. The realization of how significant that one shot is, like everything on the line. And so it's interesting, it's great. And we've got a great artist that's a local artist here, Tanner Loren, and grew up in the area and has developed a really cool brand and business and done some really nice pieces. This is really fun. I'm excited to do more of this type of work. We're gonna spend a few weeks here just doing the modeling. And then for anybody that doesn't understand the process with bronzes, maybe you could share with me just a little about, like, what's the process look like? How long does it take? When are we going to see these 20 pieces, I guess, is what I'm really getting to.
So it's actually quite a labor inclusive. It's a lot of work to put these together. Each piece will go through a foundry, and they'll get touched by between 8 and 10 people as it goes through the whole process. So what I'll do is I'll create the whole thing out of clay, and then they'll make a mold of it. And so they'll peel the mold apart, take the clay out, put it back together, and then they'll pour wax into that mold.
So lost wax process.
Lost wax casting, yep. And so once it goes through the whole process, they'll pour all the pieces. And actually I do a lot of my own finishing. And so I'll pick the bronzes up in pieces from the foundry. So they'll cut them all up to make it hollow and to pour them. And then I'll go through and I'll weld all 20 pieces back together, and then I'll do what they call as a patina, and that's the coloration of the whole piece. And so it's just heat and acids and create different chemicals, different heats, create different
I've always preferred
shades.
that bronze look versus the newer, colorations, which is a really cool art to get those kind of colors the way they do it, because it's not paint.
Nope.
But I'm still a sucker for the
And
look.
and that is what I was planning on doing, is just a traditional patina, which is what it's just
Excellent.
a regular bronze color with the darker recessed. So it's potash is what it is. So I'll spray the whole thing black and then rub the highlights out so that bronze will come through.
One question I've always had about it, the clay itself, it doesn't harden before you give it to them.
It does not. So it is oil-based clay, and actually some of the clay that I'm using is probably close to 30 years old.
Yeah.
I got it from the foundry from different artists.
Yeah.
They bring in a sculpture, they leave it, and I worked at the foundry for 21 years until it burned down a couple of years ago here in town.
Well, that's pretty cool. So they have to be pretty careful about the way that gets handled.
It is very, very sensitive, and I have a great mold maker I've been working with for 12 years now, and so she does a great, great job. Once it's out of mold, the clay pretty much is destroyed, and I'll just crush it up and make more sculptures in the future with it. And so it's recyclable. Just keep going.
Well, tell me how you got into this, sculpture work. Like, it sounds like you started working at a foundry.
I started right out of high school at the foundry, and I was doing it for so long for other artists and helping them create their careers. I actually got wounded at the foundry. I had a big sculpture fall on me and crush me, and I was paralyzed for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And so I was laid up in bed, and one of the guys I worked with brought me some clay. He's like, this will give you something to do while you're just laying here. And so I started sculpting, and actually the first sculpture I made was a cowboy grave, because that's kind of a little rock pile with a cross and a rifle leaning against it. That's kind of the mindset of where I was at, just laid in bed and wasn't sure I was ever going to walk again. And so I made a bucket list while I was paralyzed, and one of the things on it was to create a bronze sculpture. If I ever walked again, it was one of the top things on my list. And so after I had surgery, miraculous recovery, was able to walk, just dove head first into sculpting.
So when did you complete that first sculpture?
2006, I think, is when I first did
Nice.
it. And it took me a couple years after that.
Well, then the next question is, how long did it take before you were paying your bills with the art? Bronze is one of the hardest art forms to get into because there's so much overhead. And if you don't start working at a foundry, it is hard to do because it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's a lot of work. And so because I worked in the foundry, I was able to do it all myself, nights and weekends. The owner of the foundry was a great guy, let me go in and work whenever I wanted. And so I would do all my own castings. That's how I learned the whole process. And so it makes a big difference. Just starting from scratch and trying to break into sculpture, it is a lot harder than doing paintings. Whereas painting, you buy canvas, you buy paint, you go to town. And so I was very blessed to be able to work at the foundry. Yeah, 2D image, I'm not saying it's easy, but to me, that extra dimension makes it that much harder. And it's so much harder to erase and start over and to get the shapes. And I personally, my taste leans towards authentic, true to life shape. So when I see a sculpture that doesn't have the right proportions and that a little bit's off, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like I really, really like the works that capture the true shapes and
realism.
Movements and shapes. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty important to me. And maybe that just comes from taxidermy work. You have things taxidermy. Here's a good one. Here's a bad one.
Yep.
But especially with wildlife, it's like it turns into a thing. So.
Yep.
And I know your sketch looks good. The shapes look good. I really like what we've got for a plan on this. I think it's gonna turn out great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to make it. Like I did the Gunwerks emblem right here in the front. I'm excited to make it for the brand.
So you've got you're gonna have 3 or 4 weeks into that here.
Yes.
A few hours a day.
I'm gonna try and compress it as much as I can. I'll probably be doing 4 or 5 hours a day on it. I've already got a great start. It's it's really rough, but I'm just kind of getting shapes lined out. But I'm gonna try and get it as quickly as I can. My foundry in Livingston, Montana that I use is like most foundries in the country. They're very busy.
So the goal is this is a 20-year thing, so there's a time limit. We want to have these this year.
Yes.
So we're thinking towards the end of the year.
It is within the next 4 months is our goal, is to have all 20 done in bronze, ready to
That's
deliver.
exciting. Very cool. Well, the project's great. I really appreciate you being the guinea pig for this new thing that we've got going. And like all projects, it takes a little time to kind of feel your way around, but man, I think we've got a great plan to execute this one, and it's got a great theme behind it. So there's some real connection to the brand and for why we're doing it. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. It's exciting. We have a great lobby, great lighting, great place to work, and so a lot of people coming in and out, watching while I'm working, which is what I thrive at. I spent a lot of time alone in my studio in the dark area, just by myself for hours and hours.
It was an easy sell to get you in here.
It was good to be out and to be around people for a little while. So.
Well, we have a really cool event that we're doing this next week, and so I'm traveling down to Texas. We've got a lot of our customers that are also aviation enthusiasts that are coming down. So I'm going to be gone for a week. So when I come back, I think we're gonna have a lot I'm excited to see where it's at.
I'm excited just from what I've got done in this first day. So I think we'll be farther ahead than I anticipated, which is good because we are on a crunch. And so it's good to have a jump start. It's good to start heading in the right direction, and it's good to be working towards that goal.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we've got a really great plan for how we're gonna utilize these bronzes, how we're gonna allocate them, and how we're gonna celebrate the struggle of building a company like Gunwerks over the past 20 years.